Eric, we're here in Hamakua visiting David Real's koa farm and Vyban chip making production facility. David was a participant in the HIplan competition and the recent demo day and has a very interesting project going on here. Right behind us we see some koa, but we're going to interview David and hear all about his fantastic project here. So David, first of all, tell us a little bit about what you're trying to do on this property of yours.
Sure. So a lot of the property here in Hamakua that has old growth, kind of invasive, strong stands of strawberry guava like this, over the past 100 years or so, it's wiped out the koa forests. And the koa here are nitrogen fixers. These strawberry guava are very nitrogen hungry. And everywhere that there's a koa stand, the strawberry guava, the Vyban, grows like crazy, and it gets so thick that it completely chokes out the koa tree. So essentially what we're doing is getting rid of the Vyban, making a product out of it, and then replanting koa forest. We do some planting, some of it is natural growth, and we're trying to bring this forest back to a native Hawaiian forest, bring the Hawaiian undergrowth back, the native birds, and turn what used to be essentially a ruined forest into the way it's supposed to be.
So what actually has happened in this level property now?
Sure. So about a year and a half ago, we decided to open this area up because we noticed how dense the guava was here. So we knew without a doubt this used to be koa. We learned that first year or two we were here. What we did was just brought a D6, took out the strawberry guava, and these koa pop up. Then when that's happening, we'll find the smallest ones and we'll replant in areas that have been cleared and aren't getting enough growth. Mm-hmm. So here they're a little too close together. Mm-hmm. But that's okay for now. Once we get a canopy in 15 years or so, then all the understory plants will grow. Mm-hmm. And we're already seeing a lot of the endemic birds come back, wow, which is really neat.
Yeah, that's so cool.
We have, I think it's 45 some endemic birds that are on they're semi-endangered or threatened in Hawaii. So, and they like the koa a lot more than they like these. Right.
And maybe you can tell us a little bit about first step is cutting that out. What's involved?
Sure. First step, we use a combination of bulldozers, excavators, and chainsaws, and just like good old handwork. Mm-hmm. And in order to get clean branches out for our product, we can't really use machines. So we'll cut our way in, do the initial clearing with machines, and then do a lot of it by hand.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So there's a lot of handwork involved in clearing this land. That's tremendous.
Right. And it gets to be prohibitively expensive. Trying to do it either with grants, I think, is not exactly sustainable. There are a lot of good philanthropic organizations out there that support this kind of thing. But we wanted to make a product that was profitable, so the product itself will support this work.
So that's the brilliance of this business model. You've come up with a method of extracting a commercially viable product from the weeds, and in the process of doing all that, you're growing this legacy forest and returning the land to its more natural state.
That's the whole idea.
And that's just a beautiful concept. I love it.
Doing a few acres at a time. We'll be a very big wood chip manufacturer and distributor if we ever run out. If we do run out, that's fine. I'm okay with it.
Hallelujah to that.
If we take out all the strawberry guava on Big Island and replant it all in native forest, I'll be a happy man. I'll be happy to roll up the wood chip business at that point.
So I went to Ace Hardware Store to purchase the wood chips because I know our local Ace supports many local businesses like Bokoa. Didn't have time to soak the chips, but it was okay. I took 3/4 cups of chips and wrapped it in a double aluminum foil, made holes in the foil, and placed it in the hot grill outside of KTA. Kulana Foods were cooking local teriyaki beef on the grill. I thought the Vyban smoke flavor wouldn't have any effect on the teriyaki, but I was surprised.
The flavor is so oil. And it's tender, strong, and it's juicy.
I think the Spanish word is delicioso. Awesome.
I was impressed and wanted to meet the owners David and Jan Reel, who traveled 2 miles of rocky road above Ninoli. We approached a beautiful home built by David Reel with YV sticks as part of the decor. David informed me that YV fruits only on the young trees, and when it gets old, it just becomes an invasive species that invades our native forests. Man, I am so excited. I got Dave and Jan Reel, and man, this is such a beautiful place. I was very glad that Jim brought me up here, and understand you making this strawberry guava chips, or they call it YV here in Hawaii. I mean, tell me, why YV chips?
Well, we saw that this forest was being killed by YV, and that was bothering me for many years, and we were trying to come up with a solution to it. So we wanted to create a product that was made from YV, but we couldn't think of what to do. When the idea of wood chips came up and I started researching the market, I realized people are going to love these, and they're not available in the mainland. They've been used here for a long time, but in the mainland nobody knows what it is, and it's a wonderful flavor. It's great for smoking food, and the best part about it is it helps save the Hamakua koa forest.
What are you guys? You guys are entrepreneurs. You guys have an amazing kind of way of thinking of things. Something actually what you guys are doing, trying to grab waste and turn it into value. And I really love you guys for that. And more so, keeping our aina, our forest, beautiful.
Thank you, Derek.
And I see all these koa trees growing, and I see my ohia trees all coming back to life.
Yeah.
And man, and YV is a really invasive species, right?
Yes, sir.
So why would I use a strawberry guava chip? Why would I use a YV chip?
Well, we kiln dry these, and which when the wood isn't green, it has a much better flavor than some people who have used wet
is that right?
or green logs or chips.
Yes.
So it has a flavor that's kind of like a mix of hickory and apple, but it's different for anybody who's ever tried it. And it creates an awesome flavor on fish, meat, pork, turkey. I love using it on chicken, on veggies. It goes with everything. And it has
ribeyes. You made me the best ribeyes of my life.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, that's why you fell for him, because of the YV chips.
The ribeyes.
Awesome. Yeah, the ribeye. Not that. But I'm gonna tell you this, because like for me, I love cooking, right?
Okay.
And if I use this and I'll barbecue with it, maybe my wife might love me just as much as Jan loves
It's
you.
possible.
Yeah. That's so awesome. So Dave.
Yes.
Why do you put the clip in the bag? I mean, why the clip?
So you don't get rubbish and chips all over underneath your barbecue grill and around your smoker.
Wow, you know what? I know that's Jan's idea.
I wish I could take credit.
Yeah. Well, for keeping the place clean. You don't want it all messy, right?
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah. I think you find this at Ace Hardware stores on Hawaii Island.
Right now, just Waimea and Kona.
Yeah.
But also Ace Hardware on Maui.
But I think they're gonna bring it in all the stores. I already talked to the buyer. They say they're kind of sold on these chips. It tastes so good. I mean, they used it and they really love it. And I think they'll carry it on in the East Hawaii and every place else.
And a big portion of it goes right into getting rid of invasive species and planting koa trees.
So it's just more than just the chips,
Yes,
right?
sir.
It's keeping our forest natural,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
and YV is not a natural; it's an invasive species.
Terribly invasive.
Yeah. And I was very impressed, looking at the forest and seeing the koa trees coming back to life. I mean, like all these babies are coming back,
So
and
It's a good feeling.
So Dave, actually, one really last question. I mean, what made you come and buy a property like this, and it was full of YV, and you couldn't see anything? I mean, what made you do such a thing? I mean, I'm kind of like amazed.
I grew up in a really remote place off grid, and I've always liked living like that. And I guess I'm a little bit of an adventurer, and it seemed like a big challenge and an adventure, and we just decided to dive in. We were fortunate enough to be able to do it, and so we just did. It seemed like the right thing to do.
And Dave has the vision. He could look at this overgrown forest and say, "Oh wait, I see what this can be. I see what I can do with
Amazing.
this."
Wow, you know what, Dave and Jan, it is an adventure. It is a challenge, and I thank you guys so very much. And this is what Hawaii is all about, right?
Thank you,
Try
Derek.
to make the place a better place, a more beautiful place. Tell me why Hawaii?
Well, I've lived all over the world and all over the mainland United States, and I've never been to any place that felt so wonderful as Big Island and Hawaii. And we wanted to do something that gave back to the land here and back to the people, back to the environment. And this was a way to do it. It's a way to make a living and also improve things and just to make a positive difference.
But another way you want is to give back to the economy of Big Island and start a whole new industry on Big Island with a product made out of an invasive tree. And there are always people needing jobs on Big Island, and tourism, as COVID has shown us, is not necessarily something we should try to rely on for the economy here. And what if this little wood chip business becomes Hawaii Island's big industry someday?
I just wanted to be a farmer or a forester, and this was one way to do it. So I grew up in the middle of nowhere, and I like living in a remote, rural place. So here we can make a living doing something good.
Well, I just want to say thank you so very much. I mean, you guys are really making a difference. And, you know, a great example for all of the new young people out there, you know, a great role model. So thank you so very much for coming to Hawaii.
It's a pleasure. It's a
Thank you
wonderful
for having
place.
us.
We just want to give back a little.
You know how to make the shaka. Yes, sir. You see, they got it right there. Awesome. Hey, again, hey, buy chips, strawberry guava chips, one of its kind. Yeah, man. Hey, you make a regular cook a great cook. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and your wife would love you. Yeah. Right, Jen?
That's right.
Awesome.
I
Another
promise.
shaka for that, Jen. Come on. Yes, sir. Awesome.